Mark Waid and Dan Mora unleash the Boy Thunder as Superman's Fortress of Solitude is invaded by the Key and his team of villains, who want David's ship to crack open the multiverse. Mark Waid finishes up his Boy Thunder and ties to Kingdom Come for now with an action-packed finale that saw Waid pay off a lot of his build-up for David, connecting him to one of his most beloved and critically acclaimed stories, and delivering more depth to Magog and solidifying his ties to both Batman and Superman. Superman specifically, as David acted as Clark's first proper sidekick and someone he can directly impart his own teachings to. Waid really hit home this issue Superman's dedication to finding the goodness within David and helping him find his place in the world, which makes his turn into Magog later down the line that much more heartbreaking. Waid also drops in some late-minute fun villains like Zebra Man and Bag of Bones and Acid Master, who don't really pose much of a challenge to the world's finest, but provide some really great action sequences for the heroes to partake in. Dan Mora continues doing what he does best with these characters, combining his trippy, mindfuckery key sequences we've seen in the previous issues with his more traditional, classic, colourful, Saturday morning cartoon action that makes full use of Batman and Superman, as well as Waid's inclusions of some of the lesser known fun villains, and getting to see all these characters fight and interact through Dan Mora's art has been a lot of fun. Batman Superman, or World's Finest issue 11 was a fantastic conclusion to the Boy Thunder storyline for now, filled with some emotionally powerful moments, great action, and outstanding artwork. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. Batman Superman World's Finest issue 11 heads 30 minutes into the past, where the Key injects David with a chemical he claims will unlock truth. The villain says he wants to know about the ship that brought David from a parallel Earth to their Earth and where it is hidden in Superman's Fortress of Solitude. David doesn't know where it's located in the fortress, only having followed Superman there once. The Key knows that that's enough, as his brain would have recorded the flight path he took, even if he doesn't consciously remember it. The chemicals begin to affect David, drawing out the detailed memories for the Key. David fights back, knowing that Superman would never forgive him for this, but the Key assures him that he'll never remember this conversation at all, since he'll wipe his memory. In the present, Batman subdues Joker as David tells the heroes what he did to the villain was an accident. Aqualad doesn't think it was, since he and Robin had to hold him back from murdering the man. Garth thinks that David believed Joker deserved it for torturing him, but Superman tells him it's not their decision to make that call. Batman tells the Titans to get Joker to Arkham's medical bay while he and Robin pick up the Key's trail. Batman pulls Superman to the side, telling him David can't control his rage and he's like an infant with a machine gun, and while Superman sets the most shining example in the world, not even he can force someone to follow his lead, especially if they aren't ready for it. Batman implores Superman to begin the contingency they both set up, apologizing to Clark for having to do it. Superman tells David to come with him, and Robin asks to tag along as well, since David will need a friend. The heroes head to the Fortress of Solitude, where Superman constructs a chamber from his crystals. David pleads with him that he'll do better, but Clark knows while he means it, it's not the first time he has said it, and he can't afford to take chances again. Clark reveals the chamber is Kandorian technology made by Kimdar, the man who diagnosed David and made his costume, and it will nullify David's powers. David is sealed into the chamber, screaming that he'll be nothing without his powers, and Superman knows that's not true, and he'll still be a truly great kid, and while he may be forced to mislead people at times, Superman never lied to David, and he needs urgent counseling. Superman promises to get him some help flipping the switch and activating the chamber, but he stops himself though, knowing this isn't David's fault, and he can do this a better way since David never asked for any of this, and they are both learning to work as a team. Robin hears something nearby, and Superman can see that the creatures from his wildlife refuge have gotten free. The heroes know this is the work of the Key, splitting up to find the villain. Superman deals with the creatures as Robin and David discover the Key, who had hoped that they didn't realize he was there, understanding it's rather uncouth to drop in uninvited, especially when he brought friends. The Key unleashes Bag of Bones, Acid Master, the Abominable Snowman, Ferlin Nixley, and Zebra Man into the fortress, attacking Robin and David as the Key goes after Superman, using his powers to trap Superman in the machine David was in, activating it and draining his powers. The Key leaves to unlock the multiverse as Robin takes down Ferlin and his magical harp. David meanwhile melts Acid Master's guns with ease, warning Robin that he doesn't know where the other villains are. The unpowered Superman tackles David away in time as Bag of Bones tries to zap him, telling the Boy Thunder that he's now powerless, and while they will eventually come back, David is now the only one with powers. Zebra Man tackles Superman into the wall as David unleashes his power, burning the villains. Robin knows how they were burned, but they aren't dead, as Superman reveals that he lost sight of David in the flare-up of his powers. The Key meanwhile finds David's ship, searching for the control panels as David appears, demanding he leave the fortress now. The Key asks what happens if he doesn't, telling David that he took one last measure against the hero. The Key says freeze, revealing that when he was in control of David's mind, he installed a paralysis command and he just triggered it. David is unable to move as the villain retrieves the energy weapon called the Master Key, which he says will unlock molecular bonds, literally dissolving solid matter into unstable atoms. Superman and Robin find the trapped David, but Zebra Man returns, using his shield powers to trap the heroes in a force field and prevent them from getting to David. Robin tells the Key that his fight is with them, not the boy, and the villain is aware and he'll get round to killing the heroes too, but he wants them to think of all of the things the heroes have taken away from him over the years. The Key believes that Superman is incapable of knowing anything about loss, pointing the gun at David and telling him this is what it's going to feel like. Before he can pull the trigger, Batman arrives, disarming the villain and distracting Zebra Man long enough that his shield falls around Superman and Robin, allowing Superman to knock him out. Batman uses the Hadouken pressure point touch he learned from Talia al Ghul to free David from his paralysis, and as soon as he's freed, David attacks the Key, calling him a monster. In the tussle, the Key activates David's ship as Superman tries to talk David down, telling him that he's wrong in the way he thinks of himself, aware the boy believes that he's not better than the Key, but he really is. David asks why he should believe him, and Robin knows that it's because Superman never lies. David drops the Key as the ship's systems engage, and Superman thanks Batman for his timely arrival. David warns them that something is happening as he begins to shift out of the vibrational frequency of Earth Zero. Batman looks over the ship, noting how David and the ship share a specific vibrational signature, and the power radiating from it is immense, as if it's preparing to make another jump, and it's trying to take David with it. David doesn't know how to turn it off since he didn't build it, his parents did, but he climbs into the machine as Superman tries to tell him to stay calm, wanting to see if he can help turn off the machine, but thanks to it being out of sync with reality, Superman's hand just passes through it and David. Superman asks Batman to radio in the Flash and Kid Flash and get them there as quickly as they can to help out, but David knows they won't get there fast enough, asking what will happen to him. Batman thinks that he'll phase shift to another random Earth, one out of an infinite number. Superman is intent on saving the boy, but David accepts his fate, knowing that he's more trouble than he's worth. Superman refuses to listen, knowing that David was everything he could hope for in a sidekick, promising that somehow and some way they will find him. David gets into the ship, knowing that he will be okay and maybe there is another Superman or Batman or Titans out there, and he'll survive wherever he ends up, since he knows how to make friends, thanks to the great teachers he had. David thanks the heroes one last time as he blinks out of existence. Robin knows that they'll see him again someday, but Superman asks how he can be so sure, and Robin knows it's because Superman never lies and promised to help him. On a far-off world in a desert wasteland, David's ship comes to a stop. Upon leaving the ship, David is greeted by the towering Gog, who says that he has been waiting for the boy Thunder.